A large part of executing a robust cybersecurity process is building trust with your business partners and demonstrating that your organization takes cybersecurity seriously. That's why UpGuard enables you to create a free shared profile so that you can proactively share your security posture and related documentation with your customers. There may be instances where you have a potential customer procuring your services, and as a part of this, they request security related information and documentation from you. Using shared profiles means you have this information readily available so that you can provide this information to them upfront. As a result, you will spend less time filling out manual assessments, and your customers will have a more accurate and current view of your security posture so that you can focus on being proactive rather than reactive. Shared profiles save you time as both a vendor risk customer, but also for your vendors. We know it can be time consuming assessing a vendor and waiting for them to complete questionnaires and send you their security related information. Therefore, shared profile is a great feature to encourage your vendors to utilize because it saves both your time and your vendors' time, as well as ensure a strong foundation is built between your organizations. As part of your shared profiles, you now have the option to add a non-disclosure agreement, or NDA, that must be accepted by organizations before access is granted. This gives shared profile owners complete visibility and control over their privacy settings, with features including access controls and logs to ensure sensitive and private information contained in shared profiles remains secure. I'm excited to show you how this looks. But before I do that, in case you have not published your shared profile yet, let me show you how that's done. To make it easier to share security-related information with my current and prospective customers, UpGuard allows me to publish various information relating to my company's security posture on my shared profile, such as my company's security rating and also industry average security rating. To see the other information I can share, I click on My Shared Profile, then on Complete Your Shared Profile. Here, I can include key security information such as security questionnaires. This allows me to proactively share complete security questionnaires, which can significantly reduce the time spent on answering assessments. Supporting documentation such as other security-related documentation or compliance certifications. This can include compliance certificates, PCI reports, and penetration testing reports. Therefore, next time a customer asks for any supporting documentation, I can just send them a link to my shared profile to access the information. Other information I can include in my shared profile is my security contact. For instance, the company information to the team or key employee who is responsible for my company's security, and company description so that my customers have an understanding of what my company does. Once I have entered all this information, the final step is to publish my shared profile. To do this, I click on Publish Shared Profile in top right corner of the screen or at the bottom of the Complete Your Shared Profile section. In the Shared Profile settings, under Published Shared Profile, I toggle this option on. And my shared profile will now be visible to other users. Once I have published my shared profile, I can view my public profile and also invite anyone to view it even if they aren't an UpGuard user. To do this, I click Share. A modal appears and I click on View Public Profile to see what my shared profile looks like once it is published. I can also share my profile by adding the email addresses of the people I want to invite to view my shared profile. I enter this information, then click Send Invites. If I accidentally invite the wrong person and want to revoke the invitation, I click on Access, then on Revoke Access next to the relevant person or organization. Finally, Within my shared profile, I can see who has viewed my shared profile. To do this, I click on Access Log. I can then see the full name, email address, and the timestamp of when someone viewed my profile. I can also configure my settings relating to how my customers can access my shared profile. First, I click on Shared Profile, Published with the cog icon to go to the Shared Profile Settings page. Under Access Protection, I can toggle to enable or disable this feature. I toggle this on, which means that users will need to send me a request before they can access any of my documents in my shared profile. I then click Save Changes. Any access request will appear in the Access tab in my shared profile page. A new feature that UpGuard has recently released is NDA protection for shared profiles. Staying on the Share Profile Settings page, I scroll down to NDA protection. Under NDA protection, I toggle the feature on. I can then copy and paste my NDA text into the window that appears. Because this is a legal agreement between myself and a third party, UpGuard does not provide NDA wording, nor is UpGuard party to the agreement that I form with those third parties. I click Preview to see what the NDA will look like for my customers. I then click on Save Changes to complete the setup process. To access NDAs that have been agreed to by my customers, I click back on my shared profile and click on the Access tab. Here I can see a list of customers and their current state. I can download copies of where the agreed to NDAs, which are annotated with a timestamp and the customer's detail. My customers can also access a copy of this document at any time by viewing my shared profile. In the Access tab, I can also change the access state for an individual organization. For example, when I click View History, I can see the NDA workflow for an organization, including the NDAs that have been revoked and when, and the status of the current NDA within that organization. I can download the currently accepted NDA between my company and the organization by clicking Download. I can also revoke or manually approve organizations from within this page. For instance, if I want to cancel an organization's NDA because they're no longer a customer, I click on the three dots menu and revoke NDA. Finally, it is useful to note that I can use NDA protection in conjunction with access protection or on its own. If NDA protection and access protection are enabled, customers must agree to the terms of my NDA and request access to my shared profile. Whereas if access protection is disabled but NDA protection is enabled, customers must agree to the terms of my NDA before viewing the documents in my shared profile, but I do not need to explicitly approve or deny their request. UpGuard's shared profile helps you build trust with your business partners by allowing you to proactively share security-related information. It saves you time by allowing you to share vital information for potential and current customers without having to respond to the same questions over and over. It is also a great time-saving feature for your vendors to use so that they are able to proactively share their security-related information with you, which means a more efficient vendor risk assessment process for your organization. NDA protection for shared profile builds on the existing protection for your company's shared profile. It provides a streamlined way to control who has access to your information and manage the NDA workflow in one place. You can see who has agreed to the NDA, request an NDA from an existing customer, or revoke access to the shared profile via the shared profile settings page. Overall, it helps build and strengthen relationships with your business partners through transparency so that both parties have ongoing access to all versions of the NDA and provides your customers with a complete view of your business by allowing them to view questionnaire responses and other documentation saved in your shared profile. This feature is now available for all UpGuard customers and shared profile owners. If you have any questions, please ask them in the Q&A or contact support@upguard.com.